My friends, have you ever noticed how hard we try to control everything? We push, we force, we struggle thinking that if we don't take action, nothing will change. But what if I told you the real transformation happens when you stop trying so hard? We've been conditioned to believe that doing more leads to more results. But in reality, the universe responds not to how much we do, but to the energy we radiate. Imagine this: you're placing an order at a restaurant. You tell the waiter exactly what you want, and then you let it go. You don't chase him down. You don't run into the kitchen to make sure they're cooking it. You trust that it's coming. But when it comes to our desires or dreams, we don't trust. We doubt. We panic. And that panic is what blocks the flow. When you enter deep states of awareness, when you relax into the knowing, you shift your energy. You move from survival mode into creation mode, and in that space, the quantum field responds. So what if, instead of chasing, instead of forcing, you did nothing? What if, after setting your intention, you simply let go? The most powerful manifestations come not from effort, but from alignment. When your mind and body are in coherence, when your emotions match the future you desire, that future comes to you. So today, my challenge for you is this: after this moment, stop trying so hard. Do nothing. Let the field work for you. Feel as if it's already done. And then watch as everything begins to fall into place. We've been conditioned to over-control everything in our lives. Since childhood, we've been taught that if we don't take charge, if we don't constantly push, nothing will happen. We've learned to believe that effort equals results, that struggle means progress. So we chase, we force, we micromanage every detail, thinking that if we just do more, we'll finally get what we want. But in doing so, we unknowingly create resistance. The very act of over-controlling sends a signal of doubt, a message that says, I don't trust the process. And when we operate from doubt, we disconnect from the very energy that creates. Look at nature. A river doesn't force its way to the ocean. It flows effortlessly, guided by a natural intelligence greater than itself. The trees don't rush to grow, they trust the seasons. The sun rises without struggle, without hesitation. And yet we human beings insist on forcing outcomes, believing that if we don't interfere, things won't work out. But what if the opposite were true? What if by stepping back, we allowed a greater force to step in? What if by letting go, we actually gained control not over the process, but over our inner state? Because when we release the need to control, something extraordinary happens. The mind settles. The body relaxes. And suddenly we become a magnet for the very things we were chasing. Not through effort, not through struggle, but through alignment. True transformation happens when we stop trying so hard and surrender to the process. We've been led to believe that change only happens through effort, through force, through constant action. But real change is not about pushing harder. It's about letting go of resistance. The more we chase, the more we affirm that what we desire is separate from us. The more we force, the more we reinforce the idea that we don't already have it. But what if the key to transformation isn't in doing more, but in being more? What if instead of grasping, we allowed? Instead of controlling, we trusted? Imagine standing in a river, trying to move upstream, fighting against the current with all your strength. It's exhausting, it's frustrating, and yet the moment you let go, the moment you surrender to the flow, the river carries you effortlessly. That's the power of alignment. Surrendering is not about giving up, it's not about being passive. It's about stepping into a greater intelligence that already knows the way. It's about trusting that what you seek is already seeking you. When you stop trying so hard, you create space. Space for energy to move, space for synchronicities to unfold, space for the universe to work on your behalf. And in that space, transformation doesn't just happen, it becomes inevitable. The universe doesn't respond to effort, it responds to energy. We've been taught that the harder we work, the more we'll achieve. That if we push, force, and struggle, we'll finally get what we desire. But the universe doesn't speak the language of struggle. It speaks the language of frequency. It listens not to how much effort you put in, but to the energy you radiate. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel is sending out a signal, and that signal is what shapes your reality. You can work day and night, take all the right actions, and still feel stuck, not because you're not trying hard enough, but because your energy is still aligned with lack, with doubt, with fear. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine shifting your energy first, feeling the emotions of your desired future before it even arrives, becoming the person who already has it before it shows up. When you do that, something incredible happens. You no longer chase. You no longer beg. You become a magnet. Opportunities, people, and circumstances start aligning effortlessly, not because you force them to, but because you finally match the frequency of the reality you desire. The universe is not responding to what you do, it's responding to who you are. Like placing an order at a restaurant, we must trust that what we desire is on its way. You don't place an order and then run into the kitchen to check if the chef is making it. You don't sit there and panic wondering if the waiter forgot. You simply place the order, relax, and trust that it will arrive. But when it comes to our dreams, our desires, we do the exact opposite. We doubt, we overthink, we check, we question, we worry if it's really coming, and in doing so, we interfere with the process. We send mixed signals to the universe, as if saying, I don't actually believe this is mine. But just like in a restaurant, the universe operates on precision. It takes your order, your thoughts, your emotions, your energy, and begins orchestrating everything to deliver it. Your only job is to stay aligned with the feeling of already receiving it. Not to chase, not to force, but to trust. Because when you trust, you let go of resistance. You allow the unseen forces to work behind the scenes. You allow synchronicities to unfold effortlessly. And then, one day, just like that meal you ordered, what you asked for arrives, not because you worried it into existence, but because you believed it was already yours. Fear, doubt, and panic block the flow of manifestation. You may set an intention. You may visualize the future you want. You may even feel excited about the possibilities. But the moment fear creeps in, the moment doubt enters your mind, the energy shifts. You begin questioning, what if it doesn't happen? What if I fail? What if I'm not worthy? And the moment you entertain these thoughts, you disconnect from the reality you are trying to create. You move from creation mode into survival mode, and when you're in survival, your focus narrows, your body tenses, your mind races, and all your energy gets locked in the very state you're trying to escape. Imagine planting a seed in the ground. You water it, you nurture it, but every day you dig it up to see if it's growing. You panic that it's not sprouting fast enough. You question if you planted it in the right soil. And in doing so, you disrupt the process. Manifestation works the same way. The moment you doubt, the moment you panic, you pull the energy away from your desire. But when you trust, when you let go and stay aligned with the feeling of already having it, you create space for it to unfold naturally, not through force, not through struggle, but through certainty. Relaxation and deep awareness shift us from survival mode to creation mode. Most people live in a constant state of stress. They wake up with worry. They rush through their day, reacting, overthinking, and bracing for what might go wrong. Their bodies are tense, their minds are scattered, and without realizing it, they are locked in survival mode. In this state, the brain is only focused on one thing: protection. It scans for threats, it replays past failures, it obsesses over what might go wrong, and in doing so, it keeps them trapped in the same reality over and over again. But the moment you relax, everything changes. The body softens, the mind expands, and instead of reacting to the past, you begin creating the future. Deep awareness brings you into the present moment where all possibilities exist. It takes you out of fear and into trust, out of doubt and into knowing. And in that state, your energy shifts. You no longer fight against life, you flow with it. You no longer chase, you attract. Because creation doesn't happen when you are stressed. It happens when you are still. It happens when your mind and body are in harmony. It happens when you remember that you are not here to survive. You are here to create. The quantum field responds to our state of being, not our level of effort. We have been taught that if we want something, we must work harder, push more, and do whatever it takes to achieve it. But the universe doesn't operate on effort. It operates on frequency. It is not listening to how much you struggle. It is responding to the energy you are broadcasting in every moment. You can put in endless hours of work, take massive action, and still feel stuck. Not because you aren't trying hard enough, but because deep inside, you are still aligned with lack, still feeling separate from what you desire, still doubting if it will ever come. And that is what the quantum field is reflecting back to you now. Imagine the opposite. Imagine becoming the version of yourself who already has it, feeling, thinking, and acting as if it is already done. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer hoping. You are embodying the energy of the future you before it arrives. And when you do this, something incredible happens. You collapse time. Opportunities appear effortlessly. People, events, and circumstances begin aligning in ways you never could have planned. Not because you worked harder, not because you forced it, but because you finally became a vibrational match to the life you desire. Alignment is more powerful than action. When we embody the feeling of our desired future, it naturally unfolds. We have been conditioned to believe that action alone creates results, that if we work harder, if we push more, we will finally get what we want. But how many people do you know who work tirelessly yet never seem to move forward? How many struggle for years only to remain stuck in the same pattern? It's because action without alignment is like rowing a boat against the current. No matter how much effort you put in, you are still fighting against the flow. But when you align first, when your thoughts, emotions, and energy match the reality you desire, everything changes. You are no longer chasing, you are allowing. You are no longer hoping, you are knowing. And in that state, action becomes effortless. Not forced, not exhausting, but inspired. And inspired action carries a power that effort alone never can. It moves with the current, it flows with the rhythm of the universe, and suddenly, things begin falling into place. Opportunities arise at the perfect moment. The right people enter your life. Doors open without struggle. Not because you pushed harder, but because you became the version of you who already has it.
Letting go is not about doing nothing. It's about trusting the process completely. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you sit back and wait for life to happen to you. It means you release the need to control every detail. It means you trust that what you desire is already making its way to you. Most people hold on too tightly. They ask for something, but then they question if it's really coming. They try to force the outcome, manipulate the timing, and control how it unfolds. And in doing so, they create resistance. It's like holding onto a rope and pulling with all your strength, trying to move things faster. But the tighter you hold, the more tension you create. And that tension blocks the very thing you are asking for. Letting go means loosening your grip. It means surrendering the how and trusting the when. It means knowing deep in your being that if you've aligned your energy, the outcome is inevitable. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to doubt it. You just have to stay open and allow it, because when you let go, you don't lose control. You step into a greater flow. And in that flow, everything begins to unfold effortlessly. By doing less and being more, everything falls into place effortlessly. We've been taught that success comes from constant effort, that the more we do, the more we achieve, that if we stop pushing, everything will fall apart. But what if the opposite were true? What if, by slowing down, you actually moved faster? What if by stepping back, things started aligning on their own? Most people are caught in a cycle of doing. They wake up thinking about their to-do list. They rush through the day, checking off tasks, trying to stay ahead. But no matter how much they do, they still feel behind, still chasing, still exhausted, because doing more without alignment only creates resistance. But when you shift from doing to being, something changes. Your energy shifts. Your mind settles. You stop reacting and start creating. You become clear, focused, and intentional. And from that state, the right actions come naturally. Not forced, not stressful, but effortless. You no longer chase opportunities, they come to you. You no longer struggle to make things happen, they unfold on their own. Not because you worked harder, but because you aligned first. Because when you stop running and start trusting, life meets you exactly where you are. So the question is, are you willing to trust? Are you willing to step back, surrender control, and allow life to unfold as it was always meant to. Because the moment you stop forcing, the moment you stop chasing, you create space for something greater. You move from struggle to flow, from effort to ease, from wanting to knowing. And in that state, everything you've been searching for finds its way to you. Not through force, not through fear, but through the simple power of being.